Welcome, everyone, to the Traffic and Transportation Commission meeting for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. Let's have a call to order, roll call of commissioners. Since I don't have the list here.
I can do it for you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Reich, Sperling Reich. Here. Commissioner Pashai.
Here.
Vice Chair Castle.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
And we are currently missing our Chair Patton.
Okay. Let's see. Adam, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. Place your right hand over your heart and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion to
From-
approve the agenda, though I was not here.
From the prior meeting?
Yeah, so I can't.
This is the agenda for today's meeting.
Oh, I'll make that motion then. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Second? Okay. All right. And then approval of the minutes from the meeting of July 23rd.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from July 23rd, though that's the meeting I was not here for. I am here for this meeting, in case anyone was wondering.
Okay.
I'll second.
Seconded? Okay. The minutes are approved. Okay. Do we have any public comment tonight?
There is no public comment at this time.
Okay. All right. So on our agenda, first item of business is appointment of a student commissioner.
So the City of Calabasas, per our municipal code, for the Traffic and Transportation Commission, can appoint one student member onto the commission to serve for a one-year term. That student must be a Calabasas resident. And in the past year, we've had no student member for the past year, and we had one applicant, Isla Goldfarb.
Should I come and speak, or?
Welcome.
And so she applied, so if the commission would like to appoint her to the student member, you are able to do so for a one-year term. And then we have a public comment from Isla Goldfarb.
Hi, my name
Come
is
up to the, you can come up to the podium.
Isla Goldfarb, and I would love to be the student commissioner. I have plans that will, I feel like, really benefit regarding traffic and transportation. And yeah, I didn't really come up with the speech or anything, but yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your interest. Thank you.
I will add that at our environmental commission meeting in May, we had quite a few students who wanted to become student members on that commission, and Isla was one of them. And her whole speech, she spoke about traffic and transportation. So we thought that this would be a much better fit for her.
Excellent. Okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So we do need a motion, a second, and
You know
a
what?
vote.
Just for fun, I'll make a motion on this particular agenda item to appoint a student commissioner.
Okay. I will second the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right.
All in favor, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So all in favor of appointing Isla as our student member?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we have a grant presentation for Safe Streets and Roads for All.
Yes, I will be doing that presentation, Vice Chair. Just waiting for it to quick come up. Awesome. So the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant. Just a quick recap. In April, myself and one of my colleagues presented on the traffic safety grant applications. One of them was the complete street safety assessment, which we brought in July because that was successful and we had the full report. And the other one was the Safe Streets and Roads for All, and we received the notice in September that we received that grant. So now I'll be speaking about what that means, what our next steps are. So the Safe Streets and Roads for All SS4A grant is a bipartisan infrastructure law. It's a discretionary program, and it funds initiatives to prevent roadway deaths and serious injuries. So we could have applied for planning and demonstration or implementation, and since we don't currently have a plan that fits their requirements, we went with planning and demonstration. Overall, in 2024, they awarded over $1 billion to 453 recipients, which covers 70% of the nation's population, and 43% of the recipients have a population under 50,000, including us. So Calabasas was awarded $1,341,960 for a $1.67 million estimated project. And again, this was a planning and demonstration grant. So to start, we'll need to do an action plan. We need an action plan in order to do implementation. And the action plan is a comprehensive plan towards Vision Zero, so the idea that there should be no deaths or serious injuries occurring on our roadways. There are 8 key components, and it identifies existing safety problems and creates projects and strategies to address those safety problems. And then our supplemental plans and demonstrations will inform the action plan. Supplemental activities include sub-plans, so we can add more types of plans to our big plans. So things like active transportation. We currently have a bicycle master plan that was done in 2012, so that does need updating, and we'll add pedestrian and transit to that plan. We'll do roadway management, so pavement management system, a school safety plan. We'll update our local roadway safety plan, speed management, speed surveys, that kind of a thing. We can also complete roadway safety audits, do a full website development, create a complete streets policy and design guide, do a lot of community engagement. So one thing that the U.S. Department of Transportation is very big on is community engagement. They want us out there promoting these things and getting the public involved. And then demonstration projects that we have planned is a Hawk signal at Mulholland and Ettingham. This is a project that we've been trying to do for a little bit and have been unsuccessful, and now we have the money to do it. That's that high activation crosswalk that you see in, they're popping up everywhere in Los Angeles. I should have put a picture, but it pretty much forces the intersection to become a signal when there's a pedestrian, and then once the pedestrian walk phase has ended, it turns into a stop, and then the signal turns off completely. And then we're looking to do a temporary roundabout at Las Virgenes and Thousand Oaks, a temporary Class 4 bikeway on Lost Hills Road, and then we can do mini grant competitions, so crosswalk art to get the schools involved and all of our students, and then a traffic safety poster series for the entire community. Yes, Chair. Vice
Question.
Chair.
What do you mean by temporary?
So since this is a demonstration grant, we're not allowed to do any concrete work. So the roundabout and the bikeway will be constructed with material that can easily be removed in case it's seen as a failure. So if the public doesn't like it, if it ends up becoming more of a problem than a help, we can easily remove it.
And usually how long does that trial period is?
We're required to have it in at least 2 weeks, but some of these projects that have been done in other municipalities have had them in for 5 years.
Okay.
Well, a trial in for 5 years.
So it worked out so well they were able to keep the demonstration material in.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just would like to add for the roundabout and temporary bike lane, it's also part of a community engagement and community outreach for the future projects, like, for example, improvements at the intersection of Las Virgenes and Thousand Oaks that will serve as a demonstration project as a community outreach.
So I assume if it's temporary, we're inviting community comment, public comment on it?
Correct. We will have to do reports before, during, and after. And a lot of that is hinging on that community aspect.
And that location will have a more robust community outreach program, but this will be one part of it.
And then also an intelligent transportation system, ITS, which is a project that is currently in the works, and this will just provide additional funding for it.
What is that, actually? Because I saw that bullet and I didn't what is it in?
I think Tatiana can explain a little bit better.
That's the connection for the traffic signals. That's our traffic management center. And this is actually upgrade because our software is quite outdated right now. So there will be upgrade for that software and connection. We're also working with the regional broadband project, and that will allow to connect more signals in the city. And this project will upgrade the cameras, will upgrade our traffic management software. So that's
Perfect.
intelligent transportation system.
The idea is to make our signals safer. So this is just an informational item, and here is a quick little infographic of our award summary. So if there are any other questions, we can take them.
Where does the local match, so the local match comes out of the Calabasas budget? Oh, okay.
Correct, and we have a lot of metro local return that we can use towards the local match. So it's not all going to be general fund.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, two things. The next on the agenda is the West Calabasas Road roundabout project. And shouldn't Ms. Goldfarb sit up here in the student seat?
Oh, yeah, we don't have a sign yet, but please, you're more than welcome to join it from this
But
side.
only if the chair fits, I mean.
Next time it'll be more official.
So really quick, if you have any questions about the SS4A, feel free to ask them. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Our next item is West Calabasas Road roundabout project update. This is a little project timeline going back from when we started with this project. We received Measure M funding from Metro. It was in December 2021. We have the agreement signed, and the funding amount is $4.5 million. We have a contract with M&S Engineers. That was an RFP process to select engineering consultant for this project, and the contract with M&S was approved in August 2022, and they started with designing of the single lane roundabout when we received 60% and 90% design in January 2024. We still had quite a bit of review comments to them, and later after that, looking at the design, which you'll see on the slides after that, and they were attached also to the staff report. We decided to explore an option of a mini roundabout at that intersection. And the major point was looking if the retaining walls that are required for widening of the intersection that can actually save us some money. And we wanted to look what the mini roundabout will look like at that intersection. So this is the analysis that the engineering consultant did, and they presented this exhibit for the mini roundabout. And I know there are a little bit more technical attachments in your packet, but we looked at the major points, comparison points of this project and the standard single roundabout project. So on this one, you can see that there's a turning movements. There is a little green lines going through the intersection. This is turning movements for California legal track turns. This is one of the design criteria that the engineering consultant had to follow. And with the roadway widening and extension of the sidewalk and pedestrian sidewalk, they needed to look if the California legal track can make this movement through the intersection. They also looked at the school bus, especially keeping in mind that the Round Meadow School is on the other side of the Miro Road. But the major point we looked at that this will actually impact the intersection quite a bit. It will, the fact that the California legal track, in order to make this movement, it has to go through the roundabout. That means we have to design and build a mountable roundabout. So it will affect the aesthetics, and it will affect the movements, and it's not going to be as effective. We thought that will kind of diminish the purpose, because it will leave marks on the roundabout, most likely. We won't be able to improve it with landscape the way we want to, and the possibility that the other cars, that just passenger cars, will follow the tracks. That is great also. Another thing that we looked at was the side distance analysis. And from this exhibit, you can see that with this design, the guardrails are actually affecting the side distance from two major movements in this intersection. By looking at all of that and analyzing also the analysis they did for the cost estimate, and the only saving was, so this is basically I'm sorry, I'm jumping a little bit over, but this is the major points. The construction cost saving was not as great as we expected with removing of those retaining walls. And you can see it from this exhibit. This is the single lane roundabout exhibit. You can see that the walls, I don't know if I have a point here too. I don't, there's no. I want to point at the retaining walls on the south, yes, right here. So we were hoping that this elimination of this retaining walls on the south side of the intersection will actually save more on construction. But with the mini roundabout design option, we could not eliminate the long retaining wall along Calabasas Road for the roadway widening.
Trot, do we have a picture of what's there now?
I don't have it as a part of my presentation, but we can probably pull the Google Maps to look at that.
Okay.
And I have one question, because I'm a little bit confused between the mini roundabout and single roundabout. What are the examples that we have in the city as a mini versus the single?
We don't really have a mini roundabout in the city. We do have traffic circles, which is probably going to be the closest design option to the mini roundabout.
Can you give me a location example, like?
Traffic circles we have in Park Sorrento.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are traffic circles. Those are not roundabouts.
Those are not roundabouts. The roundabouts is designed for the full movement that goes,
A full circle, big
yeah,
circle.
full circle with approach, and full circle with approach designed to slow traffic on the approach to the roundabout, and to basically to direct the movements to the angle them correctly so they go around. So those mini traffic circles are similar, but not exactly.
And just to add color, I think what you kind of referred to it as a mountable roundabout, meaning that because the truck is wider, the truck would be able to go over the roundabout because it's kind of like a bump in the road, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. The truck won't be able to make the full movement going around
So they would
the
just go
circle,
over it.
so they will go over.
Right.
So that was one of our big concerns,
Right.
that it will not be as effective.
And you see that a lot in Europe, where it's kind of a roundabout, but you could also drive right over it by accident. speaking for someone.
I
Right.
see people-
And
see
that's
people
the-
doing
May have
cars all
done
the
that.
time.
Yeah, and that's the idea of the mini roundabout actually comes from there. In Europe, they use mini
Yeah.
roundabouts. That's why we wanted to study this, analyze this, and see if it'll work here. Because it's a good idea, but it just doesn't work in every single location based on the geometry, on the topography, and other things. So this is the intersection and its current condition. We have this little median island to direct traffic through this intersection.
And there's
And-
currently no signal there, correct?
There is no signal, and there is no signal proposed at this intersection. So when we have a similar situation, intersection is a little bit difficult to maneuver, especially for large trucks. And what you can see over there that you can see tire marks, you can see broken curbs, broken islands all the time. That's why we wanted to improve it, to make it aesthetically pleasing and work better. We know that there's, for the intersection with this traffic pattern, again, as we mentioned, the school traffic and some traffic that comes from the car dealership. We know that, sometimes people, speed all the way to the end of Calabasas Road. So the roundabout will actually serve very well at that intersection as a traffic calming and accommodating all the traffic movements.
Since we have a estimated cost savings of what, $500,000 by doing this, would that afford enough to dig into that south curb and widen the roadway to have that turning movement for the trucks to go around?
Yeah, but at this point, it will become a single lane roundabout.
so we just
Because,
double-
if you have to make it wide and provide for this turn,
got you.
then you're going to the original single lane roundabout design. That's exactly it. And this was actually the original idea. And staff recommendation after we looked at this analysis performed by the consultant, and you have in your package you have exhibits and you also have the report, and they have a little bit more technical details on that in there. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. But the staff recommendation after looking at this analysis is to proceed with the single lane roundabout design. And if you have any comments or any questions or anything you would like to be incorporated in the final design, we will be more than happy to take your input.
So what you need from us, is this just informational?
This is informational. However, if you have any comments or any questions, then that's actually a good time for us to take note of it.
Good.
I guess my comment would be that the single lane roundabout would be the most appropriate way to go, seeing as we still want some sort of barrier to protect cars, or to prevent cars from plowing straight through it to go on. At least we have some landscaping in there that can provide that. I don't see any other option, so in my opinion, this would be the way to go with this.
You had mentioned before, but one more time, what problem are we providing a solution to?
Traffic pattern in this intersection, you can see heavier traffic pattern in the morning related to the school. You also see traffic from the car dealerships that are, going through the intersection, testing the cars, going all the way to the end of Calabasas Road, to the west end of Calabasas Road. There is also the west leg of Calabasas Road is basically dead end, so there's not much traffic going that direction. So for that traffic pattern and for those traffic movements, that majority of, and it's, you are well aware that Miro Road and this route actually serves as a detour when the freeway is all backed up. So and again, the west leg of the intersection is not used much. So for this traffic pattern, roundabout is the most beneficial design for this intersection to accommodate for this movement. It will allow the free flow when the pattern is heavy going the eastbound. The same thing with the right turn going to the school. It will work much better without the stop signs, without the traffic signal. It will just allow for the flow.
Yeah, I think what I like about this is because you currently have an intersection that has 2 lanes that have full, just right away. They just move. You have one that's a yield, and then you have another one that's a stop. And so we can eliminate all these different options there and just keep it to one flowing movement where everyone essentially is yielding as they enter, and instead of 3 different options at one intersection. I think maybe lessen any confusion or risk of collision.
Yes,
And
adding on to Commissioner Smith's comments, it's kind of an awkward intersection right now to navigate if you're not unfamiliar with the area. And so this would eliminate a lot of that confusion.
Yes, I would say, speaking from experience, having navigated that intersection quite frequently, the stop sign and the yield sign are kind of like suggestions, I guess would be maybe the best word to use. And I think because of that, everybody stops. Because nobody, especially going south, the person will stop not knowing, and that just causes more traffic.
Has there been a noted high frequency of accidents there?
There haven't been too many accidents, but there have been some damages to property. For example, we have this is the city yard, and we had damages quite frequently to the guardrail that's on that side of the road, and yeah, right there, and to the fence.
I have one question. I'm trying to get more familiar with this concept of a roundabout. I'm looking at this, one of the images that you have provided to us has the orange circle and then the green thing in the side of it, this one. Mm-hmm. What is the width of this, the size of this circle? I mean, how, is it flexible? Is it something that could, by shrinking that, you can give more lane for the bigger trucks or cars to turn more comfortably, or there is a standard that should be followed?
There is a standard. There are certain design standards and design criteria for the roundabout. You can't just easily play with the width. That's what the designers are doing when they're looking at the size of the roundabout. But it needs to be according to the entire width. Then there is a travel lane width, and there is a certain diameter for this roundabout for it to work, to provide that circular movement.
And is it being tracked and monitored by any organization that they come and double check the work to see how wide it is, or how has it been built?
There are just the design standards that the engineers have to follow. But in terms of, like for example, for this design, we had the third-party traffic engineer also reviewed this design. They're experts in the roundabout, so they're more the company that's working on the design. It's a civil engineering. Of course, they're also, very well qualified in design of the roundabouts, but we also had an expert in traffic engineering reviewing that.
Do you know how many we currently have in Calabasas? We have a lot.
Traffic circles?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number. Well, the biggest one comes to mind is on Parkway Calabasas, right? That's a great example. And then we have a few few traffic circles. Paul Revere. Yes. And then Edingham and that area, right?
Yes.
There's
Park
more.
Sorrento, we have.
Park Sorrento, there are 3 mini circles on Park Sorrento, and there's more on the gear, right? On that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are probably 3 or 4 in that area.
I'm just curious, because I know when they have been put in before, people are not happy when they initially go in. Then you get used to it. I think they're a good idea, but I'm just curious. Would you agree? There's tended to be a sort of a public backlash against them when they go in.
In Calabasas, even the roundabout on Parkway Calabasas, I mean, it's well designed and it's very, very good location for the roundabout. But I think this one is taking into consideration even more factors for this intersection. Parkway Calabasas is more, there is a main street, right? There's a Parkway Calabasas is the main street, so that's the majority of traffic, and you have side streets with the traffic coming from the minor streets. This is, this I think will be more better feel for roundabout at this intersection just because of the traffic pattern here.
Okay.
And when does this get built? When does this project go?
Okay, here is my last slide. So the staff recommendation is proceed with the final design of a single lane roundabout, and we're planning to complete construction documentation in early next year, since we're already almost at the 90% design with a single lane roundabout, and with your support now and the staff recommendation, we will just continue with the construction package, and once we'll have construction package, we can advertise for the bid and start construction next year.
Do we have any in the city that are not single lane?
No, we
I
do
don't
not.
think so. And what's the proposed duration of construction to do one roundabout?
It's about 9 months.
Wow, really?
Yeah, again, there's some grading involved. There is also rerouting of the drainage system, widening, some street light work, retaining wall along Calabasas Road to widen it. So it's quite a little bit.
Okay.
One last question. During the construction period, will any portion of this still be available to the public to use, or no?
There will be traffic control.
Okay.
A certain traffic control. At some point, there might be some closures, but again, that we will work with the contractor to have nighttime closures, so
Right.
it doesn't affect traffic. But yes,
Okay.
there will be
thank you.
traffic control.
You had mentioned that this will control traffic, particularly to and from schools. Do they make any consideration for construction, when they're building around school hours?
Absolutely, we always have that built in our specifications to work with the school hours. So this, I think this affects a little bit less because there is only one school.
Yeah.
That we need to work with that school to find out what their schedule is.
What is it, Round Meadow?
Round Meadow.
So in a way, you're sticking with the theme, round meadow, roundabout. It's perfect.
Anything else? Thank you, Tra.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, transit update.
All right, so for our transit update this quarter, our ridership is up from this time last year and all of last year and the past few years that I've been here. So we're looking at weekly averages. We've been looking at monthly averages before, but our weekly averages are looking really good. Line 1, 115 passengers a week. Lines 2 through 5, those are our peak hour routes, mainly for the school traffic. 500 passengers a week. Dial-A-Ride, about 40 passengers a week. They operate 5 days a week, and that's the seniors. They have only one person rides at a time, so we're going to have a lower ridership for those. We only have 2 vans. And then our microtransit is on the weekends only, so 16 riders for 2 days a week is really good. So it's really nice seeing transit coming back finally from the pandemic. We do have an app. I will start by saying it is in beta. So our new service provider, Laz, who came and spoke at our last meeting, they are offering Passio Go as the app solution, mobile app solution. So anybody can go onto their phone and download it right now, and they just have to select Calabasas Transit. Again, it is in beta. A couple of our buses are having issues with connecting, including Line 1. So we haven't started marketing it yet. But it's really cool to kind of, take a look at it and see all of the routes and what they're all doing, and all of the stops are on there. You can see what time the bus should be there. It's really great for route planning if you've never used our transit before. It also has current capacity on it, so you can see how busy the bus is. Yes, Commissioner?
Just a quick question on this. Is part of the problem in connecting the cell service issues that in one specific area I know is near the high school is kind of dodgy? Is that one of the issues?
They're still diagnosing it. I don't think so, because
Oh,
it's
okay.
specific to
Good.
buses, not to the routes. And we don't, so the buses change routes to make sure they're all being used frequently. So
Okay.
they are diagnosing that this week. But luckily, cell service has not been too much of a problem with it. And then our seasonal routes have completed for the year. So the trolley ran from Memorial Day to Labor Day on the Saturdays. It'll come back next Memorial Day. And then the beach bus happens during Las Virgenes School District summer vacation. This year, Calabasas did not host our own beach bus due to low ridership in past years. For the upcoming year, we're looking at increased marketing, easier ways for the public to be able to pay for the tickets. Currently, they've been having to come into City Hall to purchase them. They can't do it with the bus, on the bus. So we're looking at a few options to bring it back to the city and make it a lot more accessible and bring the ridership back up. And then staff hosted our first mobility alternatives for seniors class. So we're getting the word out to our seniors about using public transit for those who can't drive anymore, aren't as comfortable driving, or what have you, just making sure that their needs are addressed with getting around, and that's within Calabasas and in the surrounding areas. So we did a pilot class in June. Our first class was earlier this month, and it's just looking at the city-provided options, what Metro has, and how to access that. LA County Access Services, which is the full LA County, anybody in Calabasas can use that. And then some of the LA City options, including Commuter Express. I am working on a website to compile everything, because a lot of that information is not just for seniors, it's for all of our residents to be able to use transit to get around. Our funding for this year is about a little over $1 million, and that's split between all of our services, including fueling and maintenance. And that comes out of Proposition A and C, and the measures R and M, which I explained in depth at our last meeting. And we also use some TDA 3 money, which is that Transit Development Act. This is an informational item, it requires no action, but I did forget to put a slide. We are doing a survey on our weekend microtransit. So if you're interested in what that is, if you might want to use it someday, take this survey and let us know what would make you want to use that service. And we're going to present our findings to council probably in December to see if we want to take that pilot out of pilot and make it a full-fledged program, or if we want to end the pilot and go back to just having dial-a-ride on the weekends.
Quick question in regards to, which I don't know if I'm allowed to bring this up now, but it's a question in regards to the bus or shuttle storage, which I guess is over in the parking lot near the Adobe.
Correct.
The Onus Adobe. And somebody asked me, and I didn't realize it until I went over there and looked, but I guess on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's so many, which is a good thing, we have so many buses or shuttles that they kind of are taking up some of the parking spaces. I know they used to be parked further down near Muro Road.
Correct. They used to be parked at the city yard that's at that corner that we spoke about earlier.
Right.
One of the reasons they got moved was we were having a lot of catalytic converter thefts, and we actually had some unhoused people living on the shuttles. So we moved them to the park and ride for some extra safety.
Yeah, just jumping on that note, I think we acknowledge that it's not the most ideal spot to keep them, and we are exploring, Public Works is exploring other places that we could have a yard for those buses. That's kind of a long-term effort, though, as you could imagine. It kind of goes in tandem with our transition to an electric fleet over the next roughly 15 years. Hopefully we find a place to park them sooner than that. But to kind of answer your question, I think for the foreseeable future, like the next 2 to 3 years, they're probably going to have to remain there at the park and ride. But we're looking to find a different spot for them.
Okay, just wanted to ask.
Thank you. It is good to get that information out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very rare for somebody to come up and ask me about something, so I thought, wow, okay, I'll actually better go look at it.
Are there any other questions for this item?
Okay, on to traffic safety update.
So I have a very quick 5-slide update for you. So between our last meeting and today, we've had our 3 speed radar feedback signs at 4 locations. So it's still at Old Topanga and Rencrest for all of the high school traffic. We moved to south of the freeway on Las Virgenes at Oak Glen. We did the Mulholland at Declaration spot again for the start of school, and it is currently on Adamsville at Karen Lock. So here's a look at our average speed, our 85th percentile, and our violator speed. One thing to note, we are currently working on that site number 2 for Las Virgenes. The device was incorrectly coded to a speed limit of 40%, so we don't have the violator percent. They're working on fixing that on the back end for us, but I didn't have that in time for today's meeting. It is definitely lower than 7.7% though. That's the violator percent if we say that that section of road is 40 instead of 45. And then Mulholland at Declaration, we do have a higher violator percentage of 6.8%, which we alerted the Sheriff's Department, and they're out there doing a lot of enforcement this year. And then on Adamsville, we have a violator percent of about 3.4, but our average speed is 28, so going downhill in a 25, that's very expected. Another thing about, site number 4 is our speed trailer actually stopped reporting data digitally to us. We're looking to see if it's still recording the data and just not transmitting it, but we will have an update on how our trailer is doing, hopefully very soon. And then we met with the Sheriff's Department last Thursday, and our enforcement priorities, Las Virgenes Road, and they are very focused on the school area traffic for Mulholland Highway.
Can you go back one slide?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I understand when you say 85th percentile.
So 85th percentile is kind of, Tom explains this much better than I do, Tom Miracle. He's explained it a couple of times before, but the idea behind, the California Basic Speed Law is drivers are going to drive a speed that feels comfortable to them. And when you're setting speeds, we are required by California state law to set them per the 85th percentile. So for example, Old Topanga, we look at the 85th percentile, almost 45, we get to round down to the 40, and that's the current speed. And so it's, that idea that on average, people want to drive a safe speed, and we set the speed for that road. So for example, you don't want someone driving 40 because it feels good, it feels safe, and you've set it at 25. That's considered a speed trap.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to note both speeds, the average speed that on average people are going, and then that 85th that we have to abide by.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. And then this is another informational item for you. So any more questions? Awesome.
Okay, next.
Next is the division report. I would like to start with the exciting news. The Las Virgenes Green Street project is complete, and we're having ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the site. And there will be shuttle provided for leaving the city hall. What time, Treya?
We are leaving promptly at 2:45.
2:45. So we will be, if you are available tomorrow afternoon, we'll be happy to see all of you at the ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow. Old Topanga Canyon Mulholland Highway project is complete also, and I know we reported at the last meeting, but since the last meeting we had some good news. We had a meeting at the project site with Las Virgenes Municipal Water District staff about the relocation of pressure regulating station of Mulholland, and if you remember, we mentioned that this project will unfortunately come back sometime in December when the schools are out and to do that relocation work. But after meeting with the water district staff, that was determined that relocation is not necessary, so there will be no more disturbance to traffic. And what we ended up doing, contractor did this improvements that on the picture on the right. We did the bright paint and additional sign for road narrows, and since that station, that vault is not encroaching into the roadway, that the water district is actually happy to leave it at its present location.
On that, if I may, if you remember last meeting that we had, I brought up something about that extra stop sign when you were on Mulholland heading towards like Viewpoint and you came to that intersection three-way.
It's coming. It's coming.
No, I have some more challenges now with that. Whenever is the right time, you just mentioned I can bring it up. I don't want to interrupt you. So
it's coming in my presentation. Thank you.
Okay.
Next project I would like to talk about is bike lane conflict striping project, and was also reported previously to the commission when we started working on it and started working on securing a permit from Caltrans to doing this work to mostly improve a stretch of Lost Hills Road between Malibu Hills and across the freeway, so it would be Kenwood. But since then, we added a few more locations. Thank you to our engineering staff. We added a few more locations in the city we thought would be important to have this additional striping for bike lane conflict, and those two locations are Las Virgenes Road and Park Capri. So we added that, and we had the package together. We had bid opening on September 19th, and actually City Council already approved the construction contract. And we are meeting with the contractor this week for a pre-construction meeting and hoping to start construction next month and complete it before the end of the year. The funding source is the Air Quality Management District. At our previous meetings, there were two intersections that were brought up to our attention. One of them was Mulholland Highway and Freedom Drive. And since then, we engaged our traffic engineering consultant, Kimley Horn, to evaluate that intersection. We collected the traffic counts. We looked at the traffic patterns and geometry of the intersection. And they also did they looked at the warrants. And this intersection is not warranted for the traffic signal, but it is warranted for the all-way stop. However, for further analysis of that finding, provided the information that this will increase average delay from 2.3 seconds to 237.9 seconds. So that will bring this intersection to a level of service F. So it will degrade this intersection. Also, it will increase southbound queue of vehicles by approximately 51 vehicles. So considering those factors, staff would like to proceed with evaluating another options for this intersection and come up to the commission again with other considerations and other recommendations for this. But that's what was done to date. We also, during our meeting with the Sheriff's Department, we also talked about this entire corridor and this particular intersection. And we actually gave them more information about the concerns with the left turn onto Mulholland Highway. And they will be increasing enforcement at this point of time until we complete our next step of evaluating this intersection.
So if I may, obviously I'm not a traffic engineer, but I am a resident, and I live 2 blocks from there. And what I've never understood is why at the top of the picture they have never turned that left turn lane into a merge lane, so that traffic that's eastbound on Freedom turning northbound onto Mulholland has a place to go. Because as it is right now, you have to negotiate 4 lanes of traffic to get out. And I can actually provide you with video from my car. It's quite exciting on a school morning. I go out there 3 mornings a week to get out.
Totally understand your concern. We know that there is a traffic there, school traffic, which completely blocks, and people do ignore keep clear sign. However, striping this as a double left turn will introduce safety concern. There will be a safety concern in the intersection because this left turn needs to be provided. And if it's not, then it's potential head-on collision. That's a big safety concern there. So that's why we're continue looking at the potential options for this intersection.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. What I observe there is that people routinely use that as a merge lane anyway, because if you can start to see where the merge lane starts. It's right at the top of the image. So they end up using that left turn lane as a merge lane anyway, because it's the only way you can get out in practice.
Right, right. However, it needs to be a left turn lane. I understand that they use it when there's no cars present, but how many accidents are too many. That's what our analysis show. And we will come back. We will do more analysis and more research on that, and we will come back to the commission. The next intersection is Mulholland Highway and Old Topanga Canyon Road. And we know that the concern is for vehicles not stopping at pedestrian crossing on red light, with the pedestrian crossing being introduced with our latest project. And there was a confusion at the right turn merge with Old Topanga Canyon. And I understand, Commissioner Pasha, you had another concern.
Yes. No, I mean, the picture that I'm seeing, I actually just drove through this route. I didn't see no right turn on red sign there yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
This is our recommendation.
What about having like a traffic, like a right-hand turn, red and green, that people know what to do? Because not necessarily when the light is red, there is anything happening on the right side that it prevents them to turn right, and it creates backup. If it could be synchronized with the other side left turn signal, when it's green, this is red, and vice versa. I don't know technicality behind the scene, but it makes a lot of sense, because then cars don't have to stop all the way through the red light for no reason, and especially when the traffic for the school drop-off and pickup happens, it's going to create a lot of mess.
Great that you mentioned that. That's actually, that's what we're looking as the next step. The problem right now that the current traffic signal controller that is at the intersection does not have enough capacity to
Support that.
that.
Got it.
But with our project that we mentioned earlier today, with
So
our
updating.
ITS,
Yes.
Intelligent Transportation System, the plan is to upgrade the controller and relook at the operations at this intersection. But for right now, before we do that, our recommendation is to install this signage, which will help because it will eliminate confusion. Because
Yes.
right now, drivers are confused. Where are they supposed to stop, right?
Yeah.
There is a stop line, and then you proceed further, and there is another basically yield or stop or something that you're supposed to do before you merge into the traffic. So temporary solution,
Okay.
we recommend this.
Okay. That sounds good. Sounds good. I like that.
And the last slide on our presentation is Public Works citizen request. And we had less citizen requests in September and October. I don't know if we're just doing a great job. Hopefully we do. But our major topics, typical traffic signals, street lighting, and landscaping, trees. And that's total for the last 3 months is 47, which is not too many requests. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer or go back to any of the slides if you'd like.
No questions?
No
for you?
questions? No questions? Future agenda items?
If any of the commissioners have any requests for future agenda items, this is the time to let us know.
I'm not at a request, but it's more of a question. I know because there are some pedestrian crossing that you push the button and it lights up and blinks and all of that at nighttime, which is very good in the area, especially around where I live because it's dark. Are there any other options available for creating like a little bit more bright area for people crossing? Because I still have seen people, even though the light is blinking, you don't see the person who's crossing. Are there any other technology available to let up the path of the
You talking about
pedestrian
anywhere in
crossing?
specific, Mike?
What's that?
Are you talking about anywhere in specific?
No, I mean, the only place that I've noticed is where Mulholland and Eddingham crossing, which a lot of kids and, people who do walking around
Right.
do cross, but that can apply to anywhere. I'm just curious to know if that's the best option or there are other options available on the table for that.
We can look at the street lighting. Street lighting should provide the coverage for pedestrian and crossing, but because it's not signalized intersection, there is no safety lights. But one of the intersections that you mentioned, Mulholland and Eddingham, that's the one that's included in our safe
Yes.
streets and roads
Yes.
grant, and that's the one that we're proposing hawk signal because we know there are not only nighttime issues, there are also daytime issues because of the traffic on Mulholland. So with that one, I think that grant and the presentation we did already, and we'll come back with it, we already analyzed that corridor. And we know that those locations are something that we need to pay attention to. So there are some improvements that are coming for Mulholland.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Correct.
I meant to ask you before, what's the term hawk signal?
I have a picture. It's not the best picture. Let me see if they'll let me pull it up. There we go. Sorry, they turned off my side screen. There we go. So it's not the best quality picture, but so you have the crosswalk and this signal. So right now it's completely solid red. So before they started crossing, it turned yellow first, and so it turned into, hey, if you're in the intersection, get out of it. If you're not, be prepared to stop. It turned into a solid red. Everybody is crossing. And then when the timer kind of starts to run out, it'll do like a wig-wag. It'll flash one and then the other, and that tells the drivers that if there's no one in the crosswalk, you are now allowed to treat it as a stop, as an all-way stop. And then when the whole phase is over, the signal will go dark, and it's as if there's no signal there. And so this is what we're proposing at Ettingham. And it's a high-intensity activated crosswalk is what it stands for. So this is what we're proposing at Ettingham, and with the demonstration project, we're able to see how the community likes it, see how it works, and propose that we put more of them in our action plan. And once we have that action plan created, we can apply for this grant again for implementation and get more money to do more of them.
Okay.
I know I've brought it up before, but I guess I'll bring it up officially here. One of my big concerns for our city is the new trend of electric bicycles, and it's a lot of the younger generation that are using them, electric scooters, all these devices. And I'm not looking into, I don't think we're at a stage for enforcement right now. I think we should be looking into education, and I'm wondering, do we have any grants or any funding available to us that we can then partner up with the Sheriff's Department or the Highway Patrol, an agency who has some robust programs, and we can get into the schools, educate the youth on how you use them properly. And because a lot of people don't know, a lot of times they're treated just like vehicles. They have to follow rules of the road. But as we see, the kids don't understand that. They drive them like bicycles. So, and my fear is if we don't educate them now, eventually someone will get hurt within the city. So rather than wait till we get to that enforcement or that crash that results in injury, I was hoping we could find some money and have a program to start educating the schools. Is that something we can set on the agenda or look into?
There are OTS grants that are expected to come out in December that we can, hopefully one of them will address this and we could use that.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are definitely some educational grants, I know, and through our meetings with the Sheriff's Department, we can actually talk to them as well, not only about enforcement, but what they can do from their side and for education, because they have those programs as well.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. I think we've covered everything. Yes?
Can I ask just another question out of curiosity? Because I don't remember where I've seen this, but I'm sure everybody has seen this bike path. They paint them in a different color, sometimes green, bright green, or blue, or all of that. Do we have in Calabasas anything like that? I don't remember, to be honest with you.
We will in the next couple of months. That's the bike
Oh.
lane striping project that Tatiana was talking about earlier.
Okay,
The
okay,
conflict
that's part of
striping.
that. Okay,
Correct.
just wanted to
Yeah,
make sure.
we have several locations as part of this project, and it will be first in the city of Calabasas. So we have Lost Hills, section of Las Virgenes, and Port Capri.
What about Mulholland Highway? Because, you know, close to AC Estelle, we had an incident and the police officer killed an attorney. by
Yeah,
hitting the
Mulholland
bicycle.
Highway is a project on its own, and it's part of our, safe roads for all, and part of other analysis that we did. So we have plans for Mulholland Highway for improvements.
Okay,
So that's separate from this project.
okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Any further items? Motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second?
Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025.